Imagine you are standing at the edge of a village as the sun dips below the mountains. The sky turns from gold to deep purple. The air grows cold against your skin. You pull your coat a little tighter. The village before you is small and very old. The houses are made of stone and dark wood. Their roofs sag in the middle. Smoke rises from a few chimneys. It drifts up into the evening sky. The smoke moves slowly. It twists and turns before it disappears. You take a step forward. Your feet press into the dirt road. The road is narrow. It winds between the houses. There are no streetlights here. There are no cars. There are no sounds of modern life. This village exists in a different time. It feels like a place that the world forgot. The mountains rise all around you. They are tall and covered with dark forests. The forests seem endless. They climb up the slopes until they meet the sky. The sun is almost gone now. You watch as the last bit of light fades. The shadows grow longer. They stretch across the road. They reach toward you. The village becomes darker. The windows of the houses glow with soft yellow light. Candles flicker inside. You can see the shapes of curtains. You can see the edges of furniture, but you cannot see the people. The people stay hidden. They stay inside. You begin to walk. Your footsteps are quiet. The dirt muffles the sound. You pass the first house. It leans slightly to one side. The wood is worn and grey. The door is closed. A cross hangs above the door. It is made of iron. It is old and rusted. You notice that every house has a cross. Some are above the doors, some are carved into the wood, some hang from nails. The crosses are everywhere. You continue walking. The road curves gently. You pass another house, and then another. The village is quiet. It is so quiet that you can hear your own breathing. You can hear the wind. The wind moves through the trees on the edge of the village. It makes a soft, rushing sound. It is constant. It never stops. The wind carries the smell of earth and old wood. It carries the smell of smoke. You look up at the sky. The stars are beginning to appear. There are so many stars. You have never seen so many. They fill the sky. They shine cold and distant. The moon is rising. It is full and bright. It casts a pale light over everything. The light makes the village look strange. It makes the shadows deeper. It makes the stones glow faintly. You walk past an old well. It sits in a small square between the houses. The well is made of stone. The stones are smooth and worn. A wooden roof covers the top. A bucket hangs from a rope. The rope is frayed. You stop and look at the well. You lean over slightly and peer down. The inside is dark. You cannot see the bottom. You cannot see the water. You only see darkness. You wonder how deep it goes. You wonder how old it is. You wonder what stories it could tell. The wind picks up. It moves around you. It pulls at your coat. It makes a low sound. The sound is almost like a voice, almost like a whisper. But there are no words, just the sound of air moving through narrow spaces, the sound of air moving between the houses, between the stones, through the cracks. You step away from the well, you keep walking. The road continues through the village. You pass more houses. They all look the same. Old stone, dark wood, small windows. Closed doors, crosses everywhere. You notice other things too. Bundles of dried herbs hang beside some doors. Wreaths made of twisted branches hang on others. You see small stones placed on windowsills. The stones are painted with symbols. You do not recognize the symbols. They are old. They are worn. They look like they have been there for a very long time. You wonder about the people inside the houses. You wonder if they are watching you. You feel like they might be. You feel eyes on you. But when you look at the windows, you see nothing. Just the flicker of candlelight. Just the dark shapes of furniture. Just the closed curtains. No faces. No movement. The people stay hidden. The village feels frozen. It feels like it is waiting. Waiting for something. You do not know what. You just feel it. The feeling is heavy. It presses down on you. It makes you move slowly. It makes you quiet. You do not want to make noise. You do not want to disturb anything. You reach the centre of the village. There is a church here. The church is larger than the houses. It is made of stone. The stone is dark grey. It looks almost black in the moonlight. The church has a tall steeple. A cross sits at the very top. The cross is made of iron. It is thick and heavy. The church has large wooden doors. The doors are closed. They are bound with iron bands. The iron is old and dark. You walk toward the church. Your feet make soft sounds on the stones. The ground here is paved with cobblestones. They are uneven. They are worn smooth by centuries of feet. The moonlight reflects off them. It makes them shine faintly. You stop in front of the church doors. You place your hand on the wood. The wood is cold. It is rough under your fingers. You feel the texture of the grain. You feel the age of it. You do not open the door. You just stand there. You look up at the church. The windows are tall and narrow. They are made of thick glass. The glass is old. It is wavy. It distorts the light. You can see a faint glow from inside. Candles burn somewhere within. But the light is dim. It barely reaches the windows. You hear a sound. It is faint. It comes from inside the church. It is a creaking sound, like wood settling, like something shifting. You listen. You wait. The sound does not come again. Everything is quiet. Everything is still. You step back from the door. You turn and look around the square. There is a stone monument in the centre. It is old and weathered. The stone is covered with moss. Words are carved into it, but the words are worn away. You cannot read them. You cannot tell what they say. You wonder who the monument is for. You wonder what it remembers. The wind moves through the square. It swirls around the monument. It makes the candles in the church windows flicker. The light dances. It casts moving shadows on the walls. The shadows look like figures, like people standing, like people moving. But there is no one there. It is just the light, just the shadows, just the wind. You leave the square. You follow the road. The road leads away from the church. It leads toward the edge of the village, toward the forest. The houses become fewer. The spaces between them grow wider. You can see the trees now. They are tall and dark. They stand like a wall. The forest is thick. It is deep. It seems to go on forever. You walk slowly. You are in no hurry. There is nowhere to hurry to. There is only the night, only the village, only the quiet. You notice more details as you walk. You see old tools leaning against walls, a rusted scythe, a wooden rake, a pile of stones. Everything looks forgotten. Everything looks like it has been sitting there for years. You pass a house with a garden. The garden is overgrown. Plants grow wild and tangled. You can see the shapes of old vegetables, twisted vines, withered leaves. A wooden fence surrounds the garden. The fence is broken in places. The posts lean. Some have fallen over. You stop and look at the garden. You wonder when it was last tended. You wonder if anyone still lives in the house. The windows of the house are dark. There is no candlelight, no smoke from the chimney. The door is closed. You cannot tell if someone is inside. You cannot tell if the house is empty. It feels empty. It feels abandoned. But you're not sure. In this village it is hard to tell. Everything feels abandoned. Everything feels forgotten. You keep walking. You reach the last house. It sits at the very edge of the village. Beyond it is nothing but open ground, and then the forest. The house is small. It is made of stone. The roof is covered with wooden shingles. The shingles are dark with age. Some are missing. You can see gaps in the roof. The door is closed. A window faces the road. The window is small. The glass is thick and wavy. You cannot see inside. You stop in front of the house. You look at it. You look at the forest beyond. The trees are so close. They seem to lean toward the village. They seem to reach out. The branches are bare. They twist and curve. They look like fingers. Like hands. Like arms stretching. The wind is stronger here. It comes from the forest. It carries the smell of pine and damp earth. It carries the smell of things that grow in darkness. It is cold. It makes your skin prickle. It makes you shiver. You pull your coat tighter again. You look up at the sky. The moon is higher now. It is bright. It lights the ground. It lights the forest. But the forest is still dark. The light does not reach deep into the trees. It only touches the edges. You hear a sound. It comes from the forest. It is a rustling, like something moving through the underbrush, like something stepping on leaves. You listen. You stare into the darkness. You wait. The sound stops. Everything is quiet again. You do not know what made the sound. You do not see anything. It could have been an animal. It could have been the wind. It could have been nothing. You turn away from the forest. You look back at the village. The houses sit silent. The candles still burn in the windows. The smoke still rises from the chimneys. Everything looks the same. Everything looks unchanged. But you feel different. You feel something. It is hard to describe. It is a feeling in your chest, a tightness, a weight. It is the feeling of being watched, the feeling of being alone but not alone. You start walking again. You walk back into the village. You follow the road. You pass the houses again. You pass the well again. You pass the church again. Everything is exactly as it was. Nothing has changed. But it feels different now. It feels heavier. It feels older. You think about the stories that people tell about places like this. Stories about old beliefs. Stories about things that live in the dark. Stories about spirits and shadows. Stories about the dead who do not rest. You have heard these stories before. Everyone has heard these stories. They are part of the folklore, part of the history, part of the land. In Transylvania, the old beliefs run deep. They are woven into the fabric of life. They are part of the stones and the trees, part of the earth and the sky. People here believe in things that others have forgotten. They believe in the strigoi. The strigoi are the restless dead. They are souls who cannot move on. They are trapped between worlds. They walk at night. They move through the shadows. They visit the living. They bring cold air and strange dreams. People protect themselves from the strigoi. They hang crosses. They place garlic above doors. They sprinkle salt on thresholds. They bury the dead with care. They perform rituals. They say prayers. They do everything they can to keep the dead at rest, to keep them in the ground, to keep them away. But sometimes it does not work. Sometimes the dead return. Sometimes they walk. Sometimes they are seen. A figure in the mist, a shadow at the window, a sound at the door. The people know. They have always known. They have lived with this knowledge for centuries. It is part of their lives, part of their nights. You walk past another house. You think about these things. You think about the strigoi. You think about the beliefs. You wonder if they are true. You wonder if the dead really walk. You wonder if they are here now, in this village, in this night. You look around. You see nothing. Just the houses, just the shadows, just the moonlight, but the feeling remains. The feeling of being watched, the feeling of something present, something old, something patient, something waiting. You reach the square again. You stand in front of the church. The doors are still closed. The candles still burn inside. You look at the monument, the worn stone, the moss, the forgotten words. You wonder what it says. You wonder who it remembers. You wonder if those people are still here. In some way, in some form, the wind moves around you. It circles the square. It makes a sound, a low sound, almost a moan, almost a sigh. You close your eyes for a moment. You listen. You hear the wind. You hear the rustling of the trees. You hear the faint creak of wood. You hear your own breathing. That is all. Nothing else. No voices, no footsteps, no movement. You open your eyes. You look around. Nothing has changed. Everything is the same. The village sits silent. The night continues. The moon shines bright. The stars fill the sky. Time moves slowly here. It moves like honey, like something thick and heavy. You can feel it. You can feel the weight of it. You leave the square. You walk down a different street. This street is narrower. The houses are closer together. They lean toward each other. Their roofs almost touch. The street is dark. The moonlight does not reach here. You move slowly. You feel your way. Your hand brushes against stone walls, against wood, against metal. Everything is cold. Everything is rough. You pass a house with an open window. The window is small. You can see inside. There is a single candle burning on a table. The flame is steady. It does not flicker. You can see the edge of a chair, the corner of a bed, a wall covered with old paper. But you see no people. The house feels empty. It feels forgotten. But the candle burns. Someone lit it. Someone is there. Somewhere. You keep walking. The street curves. It leads you past more houses. You notice details. A wooden bucket beside a door. A coil of rope hanging from a hook. A pile of firewood covered with a tarp. Everything looks old. Everything looks used. Everything looks like it has been there for years. Decades, centuries. The village is old. It has been here for so long. The stones remember, the wood remembers, the earth remembers. They hold the memories, they hold the stories, they hold the secrets, and they do not share them easily. You think about the forest, the dark trees, the shadows, the sounds. You think about what might live there. Old stories speak of forest spirits, of creatures that are neither animal nor human, of things that watch from between the trees, things that follow travellers, things that lead people astray, things that take them deep into the woods where they are never found. The forest here is ancient. It has never been fully explored. It is too big, too deep, too wild. People avoid it. They stay on the paths. They do not wander. They do not go in after dark. They know better. They have always known better. You walk back toward the edge of the village. You walk back toward the forest. You cannot help yourself. You are drawn to it. You want to see it again. You want to look into the darkness. You want to understand what it is you feel. You reach the last house again. You stand in front of it. You look at the forest. The trees stand tall and silent. The wind moves through them. It makes them sway. The branches creak. The sound is rhythmic. It is almost like breathing, like the forest is alive, like it is sleeping, like it is dreaming. You take a step closer to the forest, and then another. You leave the village behind. You walk onto the open ground. The grass is dry and brittle. It crunches under your feet. The sound is loud in the quiet. You stop. You listen. The wind continues. The trees continue to sway. Nothing else moves. You look up at the moon. It is so bright. It lights everything. It makes the world silver and black. No colours, just light and shadow, just shapes and forms. You can see the edge of the forest clearly. You can see the trunks of the trees. You can see the spaces between them, but you cannot see beyond. You cannot see what is deeper inside. That remains hidden. That remains dark. You hear the sound again, the rustling. It is closer now. It comes from just inside the tree line. You stare into the darkness. You wait. You hold your breath. The sound stops. Silence falls. The wind continues. The trees continue to sway, but the rustling is gone. You do not move forward. You do not enter the forest. Something tells you not to. Some instinct. Some feeling. You know that if you step into those trees, you will not find your way back. You will be lost. You will become part of the forest, part of the darkness, part of the stories. You turn around, you walk back to the village, you walk back to the houses, you walk back to the road. The village welcomes you. It feels safer. It feels like shelter, even though it is strange, even though it is heavy with old beliefs, even though it is filled with shadows. It is better than the forest. It is better than the unknown. You walk through the streets again. You walk slowly. You let the quiet settle over you. You let the night wrap around you like a blanket. You feel tired now. The walking, the cold, the weight of the place. It all presses down on you. You feel your eyes growing heavy. You feel your steps slowing. You find a place to sit. There is a low stone wall beside the road. You sit on it. The stone is cold, but you do not mind. You lean back. You look up at the sky. The stars are so bright. They seem close enough to touch. They fill the darkness. They push back the night, but only a little, only enough to remind you that they are there. You think about sleep. You think about closing your eyes. You think about letting go, but you're not sure you can sleep here, not in this village. Not with the weight of it pressing down, not with the feeling of eyes watching, not with the forest so close, but you're so tired. Your body is heavy, your mind is slow. The cold air feels good on your face. The wind feels good moving around you. The quiet feels good. It fills your ears. It fills your mind. It pushes everything else away. You close your eyes, just for a moment, just to rest. You listen to the wind. You listen to the trees. You listen to the silence. The sounds blend together. They become one. They become a rhythm, a pattern, a song. The song of the village, the song of the night, the song of old places, of forgotten places, of places that exist outside of time. You feel yourself drifting, not asleep, not awake, somewhere in between. Your mind wanders. You think about the stories again. You think about the strigoi. You think about the spirits in the forest. You think about the people in the houses, hidden behind their doors, behind their curtains, watching, waiting, living their lives in this strange place, in this heavy place, in this place where the past and the present blur together. You wonder what it is like to live here. to be born here, to grow up here, to spend your whole life surrounded by these old stones, these dark forests, these ancient beliefs. You wonder if you would believe too, if you would hang crosses above your door, if you would scatter salt on your threshold, if you would fear the night. Probably you would. How could you not, when the weight of it is so strong, when the feeling of it is so present, when the stories are so old and so deeply believed? You would believe, you would protect yourself. You would do what everyone else does, because that is how you survive, that is how you live, that is how you make it through the night. You open your eyes. The village is still there. Nothing has changed. The houses sit silent. The church stands dark. The moon shines bright. The stars fill the sky. Time has passed, but you do not know how much. It could have been minutes. It could have been hours. It is hard to tell. Time moves differently here. It moves in its own way. You stand up from the wall. Your legs are stiff. Your body is cold. You begin to walk again. You walk without purpose. You walk just to move, just to stay warm, just to feel your body working. You walk through the streets. You pass the same houses. You see the same windows. You see the same doors. Everything is familiar now. Everything is known, but it is not comfortable. It is not welcoming. It is just familiar, like a dream you have had before, like a place you have visited in sleep. You know it, but you do not belong to it. You are not part of it. You're just passing through, just visiting, just witnessing. You reach the well again. You stop and look at it. The wooden roof, the stone walls, the dark opening. You lean over again. You look down. The darkness is complete. It is absolute. It is like looking into nothing, into the void, into the earth itself. You wonder again how deep it goes. You wonder what is at the bottom. Water, mud, stones, or something else, something older, something forgotten. The wind picks up, it swirls around the well, it makes a sound. The sound echoes down into the darkness. It bounces off the walls. It comes back to you, changed, deeper, longer, like a voice, like something answering. But there are no words, just sound, just echo, just wind. You step away. You keep walking. You walk toward the church again. The church draws you. It is the center of the village, the heart of it, the place where everything converges, where the people come together, where they pray, where they seek protection, where they ask for help. You stand in front of the doors again. You place your hand on the wood again. You feel the cold, you feel the age. You press gently. The door does not move. It is locked, or barred, or simply too heavy. You do not try harder. You just stand there. You rest your hand against the wood. You feel the connection between you and this place, between you and the past, between you and all the people who have stood here before. How many people have touched this door? How many hands have pressed against this wood? How many prayers have been said? How many fears have been carried inside? How many souls have sought refuge here? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. All of them gone now, all of them part of the past, part of the earth, part of the stories. You look up at the steeple, the cross at the top, the iron black against the night sky, the moon behind it, the stars around it. The cross stands tall, it stands firm. It has stood for centuries. It will stand for centuries more. It is a symbol of faith, of protection, of hope, but also of fear, of the things that require protection, of the things that must be kept at bay. You lower your gaze, you look at the square, at the monument, at the worn stone. You walk over to it, you kneel down, you reach out and touch the moss. It is soft, it is damp. It is cool against your fingers. You try to read the words, but they are too worn, too faded. You can make out a few letters, but they do not form words. They do not tell you anything. The monument keeps its secrets. The past keeps its secrets. You stand up. You brush the moss from your fingers. You look around. The village surrounds you. It presses in. It holds you. You're at the center of it now, at the heart of it, and you feel the weight of it more than ever. The weight of time, the weight of belief, the weight of all the nights that have passed, all the people who have walked these streets, all the stories that have been told, all the fears that have been felt. The wind moves through the square. It makes the candles flicker again. It makes the shadows dance. You watch the shadows. You watch them move across the walls. Across the ground, they seem alive. They seem to have form, shape, purpose. But they are just shadows, just the absence of light, nothing more. But maybe that is enough. Maybe the absence of light is enough to hold fear, enough to hold mystery, enough to hold the unknown, because we cannot see into shadows. We cannot know what they hide. We can only imagine, and imagination is powerful. Imagination fills the darkness with things that may not be there, with things that we fear, with things that we cannot understand. You leave the square, you walk down another street. This street leads to the other edge of the village, the edge that faces the mountains. You walk slowly. Your feet know the way now. Your body knows the rhythm of walking through this place, the rhythm of moving through the quiet, the rhythm of existing in this heavy night. You pass houses, you pass windows, you pass doors. Everything is the same. Everything is different. Each house has its own character, its own shape, its own presence. But they all feel the same. They all feel old. They all feel watched over. They all feel protected by something, by the crosses, by the herbs, by the stones, by the rituals, by the beliefs. You reach the edge of the village. The houses end. The road continues. It leads out into the open. It leads toward the mountains. You can see them. They rise up against the sky. They are dark. They are massive. They seem to touch the stars. The moon lights their peaks. The snow on the highest points glows white. But the lower slopes are dark, covered in forest, covered in shadows. You stand at the edge. You look out. The land stretches before you. Open fields, rolling hills, and beyond them the mountains. The wind comes from that direction. It is cold. It is strong. It carries the smell of snow, the smell of ice, the smell of thin air, the smell of places where people do not go. You think about the mountains, about what lies in them, about the caves and the valleys, about the high places and the deep places, about the things that live there, the animals, the wolves, the bears, the eagles, and maybe other things, things from the stories, things that have no names, things that are only spoken of in whispers. The mountains have always been here. They have always watched over these villages, these people, these lands. They are constant, they are eternal. They do not change, they do not move. They simply exist, and they hold their secrets. They hold them deep. They hold them forever. You turn around. You look back at the village. It sits quiet. It sits still. The candlelight glows. The smoke rises. The crosses stand. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it has always been. The village endures. It survives. It continues. Night after night. Year after year. Century after century. You walk back into the village. You walk back to the centre. You walk back to the church. You stand in the square. You look around. You take it all in. The houses, the shadows, the moonlight, the silence, the weight, the feeling, all of it. You breathe deeply. The cold air fills your lungs. It is clean. It is pure. It tastes of earth and stone, of wood and smoke, of age and memory. You sit down on the steps of the church. The stone is cold, but you do not mind. You are used to the cold now. It is part of the night, part of the place. You lean back against the door. You feel the wood behind you. You feel its strength, its solidity. It supports you. It holds you. You close your eyes again. You let the quiet wash over you. You let the darkness wrap around you. You let the night take you, not into sleep, not yet, but into a place of rest, a place of stillness, a place where thought slows, where worry fades, where the mind simply exists without effort. You hear the wind, always the wind. It never stops. It moves through the village. It moves through the trees. It moves through the mountains. It carries with it the voices of the past, the whispers of the old ones, the breath of the land. You listen to it. You let it fill your ears. You let it fill your mind. The wind speaks of time, of the endless passage of days and nights, of seasons changing, of years flowing by like water, of the earth turning beneath the sky, of the stars moving in their patterns, of the moon waxing and waning, of life and death, of beginning and ending, of the cycle that never stops, that continues forever, that holds all things within it. You think about the people in the houses. You wonder if they are awake, if they are listening to the wind too, if they are feeling the night, if they are thinking about the same things you're thinking about time, about the past, about the stories, about what it means to live in a place like this, a place where the old ways still hold power, where belief is strong, where the line between the living and the dead is thin. Maybe they are. Maybe they lie in their beds and listen. Maybe they say their prayers. Maybe they check their protections, their crosses, their garlic, their salt. Maybe they whisper the old words, the old charms, the old formulas that have been passed down through generations, the words that keep the darkness at bay, that keep the strigoi away, that keep the spirits in the forest where they belong. Or maybe they sleep. Maybe they are used to this. Maybe they have lived with it so long that it does not bother them anymore. Maybe they trust their protections. Maybe they trust their faith. Maybe they simply accept that this is how things are, that this is the way of the world, their world, the world of this village, this valley, this land. You open your eyes, you look at the sky. The moon is beginning to descend. It is moving toward the western horizon, but it is still high, still bright. The night is long, the night is deep. There are many hours until dawn, many hours of darkness, many hours of quiet, many hours of this heavy, waiting feeling. You stand up from the steps, you begin to walk again. You walk through the village, you walk without direction, you simply move. You let your feet carry you, they take you down streets you have walked before, past houses you have seen, past windows that glow, past doors that are closed, past shadows that shift, past moonlight that falls in silver pools on the cobblestones. You pass a house where a dog barks. The sound is sudden, it breaks the silence. The bark is sharp and urgent. You stop, you listen. The dog barks again, and then it stops. Silence returns, you wait, you listen for more, but there is nothing. The dog is quiet. The night is quiet. Everything is quiet. You wonder what the dog heard, what it sensed. Dogs know things, they feel things that people do not feel. They see things that people do not see. They are sensitive to the world in ways that we're not. Maybe the dog sensed something. Maybe something passed by. Something moved in the shadows. Something walked through the village. Something that should not be there. Or maybe it was nothing. Maybe the dog simply barked. Maybe it heard the wind. Maybe it heard you walking. Maybe it was dreaming. Maybe it means nothing at all. You do not know. You cannot know. You can only wonder, only imagine, only feel the uncertainty, the not knowing, the mystery. You keep walking, you leave the barking dog behind, you move deeper into the village, you turn down a narrow alley. The alley is dark, the houses on either side are close. They block the moonlight. You move slowly, you feel your way, you touch the walls, you feel the stone, the wood, the metal. Everything is cold, everything is solid, everything is real. The alley opens into a small courtyard. The courtyard is surrounded by houses. It is hidden. It is private. There is a tree in the centre. The tree is old. Its branches are bare. They reach up toward the sky. They twist and turn. They create patterns against the stars. The trunk is thick. The bark is rough. The roots push up through the cobblestones. They buckle the ground. They create uneven surfaces, tripping hazards in the darkness. You walk to the tree. You place your hand on the trunk. The bark is cold and rough. You feel the texture. You feel the life within. Even though the tree is dormant, even though the leaves are gone, even though winter is here. The tree is still alive. It is still strong. It has stood here for decades, maybe centuries. It has seen everything. It has witnessed everything. It remembers everything. But trees do not speak. They do not share. They simply stand and watch and endure. You look up through the branches. You see the sky. You see the stars. They shine through the gaps. They create a pattern, a web, a network of light against darkness. It is beautiful. It is mesmerizing. You could stand here forever, looking up, losing yourself in the patterns, in the light, in the vastness of it all. But you do not stand forever. You lower your gaze. You look around the courtyard. There are windows here too, small windows, high up on the walls. Some have light, some are dark. You cannot see inside, you cannot see the people. They remain hidden. They remain separate. They remain in their own world, behind their walls, behind their protections, safe from the night, safe from the unknown, safe from the things that walk in darkness. You leave the courtyard, you find the alley, you walk back through it, you emerge onto a street. The street is familiar now, you recognize it. You know where you are, you know how to find your way. The village is not large, it is easy to navigate, once you know it, once you understand its pattern, once you feel its rhythm. You walk toward the well again. It is a landmark, a point of reference. You seem to return to it, again and again, like it is pulling you, like it is the center of something, like it holds something important. You do not know what, you just feel it. You reach the well, you stand beside it, you look down into the darkness looks back. It is deep, it is endless, it is like looking into the earth itself, into the heart of the world, into the place where all things come from, and where all things return. You hear a sound, it is faint, it comes from far away. It is a howl, an animal howl. It rises and falls, it echoes off the mountains, it carries through the valley. It is lonely, it is mournful, it is the sound of something wild, something free, something that lives outside, in the forest, in the mountains, in the places where humans do not go. The howl fades, silence returns, but the memory of it remains, the sound of it, the feeling of it. It reminds you that you're not alone, that there are other lives here, other beings, other creatures. They live their lives, they hunt, they sleep, they survive, and sometimes they howl. They call out to each other. They communicate across the distances. They mark their territory. They express their existence. You listen for more. But the howl does not come again. The night is quiet once more. The wind continues. The trees sway. The moon shines. Everything is as it was. But the howl has changed something. It has reminded you. It has connected you to something beyond the village, beyond the houses, beyond the human world, to the wild world, the natural world, the world that exists without us, that would exist without us, that will exist long after we are gone. You leave the well. You walk toward the edge of the village again. You walk toward the forest. You cannot help it. You are drawn to it. You want to be near it. You want to feel its presence, its power, its mystery. You walk across the open ground. The grass crunches under your feet. The wind is stronger here. It comes from the forest. It brings the smell of pine, of earth, of darkness. You stop at the edge. You look into the trees. The darkness is deep. The moonlight cannot reach in. You can see the first few trunks. You can see the first few branches. But beyond that is only shadow, only darkness, only the unknown. You stare into it. You let your eyes adjust. You try to see deeper, but you cannot. The forest keeps its secrets. It hides its interior. It protects its depths. You hear the rustling again. It is closer now, just inside the tree line. Something is moving. You can hear it. You can hear the sound of feet, or paws, or something else, moving through the undergrowth, moving between the trees. You hold your breath. You wait. You watch. The rustling continues. It moves along the tree line, parallel to you. Not toward you, not away from you, just moving, just passing. And then it stops. Silence. Complete silence. The wind stops. The trees stop swaying. Everything is still. Everything is frozen. You feel your heart beating. You feel your blood moving. You feel the cold air on your skin, but nothing else moves. Nothing else makes a sound. And then the wind returns. It rushes through the trees. It breaks the silence. The trees sway again. The branches creak. The moment passes. Whatever was there is gone, or hidden, or watching. You do not know. You cannot know. You can only feel the uncertainty, the mystery, the presence of something beyond your understanding. You turn away from the forest. You walk back to the village. You walk quickly, not running, but moving with purpose. The forest feels too close, too present, too watching. You need the village. You need the houses. You need the walls, the protection, the human presence. Even though the houses are silent, even though the people are hidden, they are still there. They are still human. They are still part of your world. You reach the first house, you slow down, you breathe, you calm yourself. Nothing happened. Nothing threatened you. You just heard a sound. That is all. A sound in the forest. An animal moving. That is all it was. Nothing more. Nothing dangerous. Nothing to fear. Just an animal. Just the wild world. Just the night. But the feeling remains. The feeling of being watched. The feeling of something present. Something aware. Something that knows you are here. That sees you. That observes you. You cannot shake the feeling. It stays with you. It follows you. It wraps around you like a cloak. You walk through the village. You walk to the church. You stand in the square. You look around. Everything is familiar. Everything is known. But it all feels different now. The shadows are deeper. The silence is heavier. The night is darker. The weight of the place has increased. It presses down harder. It makes breathing difficult. It makes thinking difficult. It makes everything feel slow and thick and heavy. You sit on the steps of the church again. You lean against the door. You close your eyes. You try to rest. You try to let the tension go. You try to relax. But it is hard. The feeling will not leave. The sense of presence. The sense of watching. The sense of something hovering just beyond sight. Just beyond hearing. Just beyond knowing. You breathe deeply. You count your breaths. You focus on the rhythm. In and out. In and out. Slow and steady. You let the counting fill your mind. You let it push other thoughts away. You let it create a space of calm, a space of stillness, a space where the fear cannot reach. Slowly the tension eases. Slowly your body relaxes. Slowly your mind quiets. You sit there, breathing, counting, existing. The night continues around you. The wind continues. The moon continues to shine. The stars continue to watch. But you are separate from it now. You're in your own space, your own moment, your own experience of stillness. Time passes. You do not know how much. You do not care. There is no need to measure it, no need to track it. There is only now, only this moment, only the feeling of sitting on cold stone, the feeling of rough wood against your back, the feeling of cold air on your face, the feeling of breathing, the feeling of being. You open your eyes. The village is still there. The houses still stand. The windows still glow. The smoke still rises. Nothing has changed. Everything is the same. The night endures. The village endures. You endure. You stand up. You stretch. Your body is stiff. Your muscles are cold. You move slowly. You walk down the steps. You walk into the square. You walk around the monument. You trace a circle. You walk slowly. You let your body warm. You let your blood flow. You let the movement wake you, bring you back, connect you to yourself. You complete the circle. You stop at the monument. You place your hand on the stone. You feel the moss. You feel the cold. You feel the age. You wonder again about the words, about what they say, about who they remember. You will never know. The words are gone. The meaning is lost. Only the stone remains. Only the presence of it. Only the fact of it. A marker. A memory, a connection to the past, but the details are gone, worn away by time, by weather, by the endless passage of years. You remove your hand, you walk away, you walk through the streets, you walk past the houses, you notice details you have not noticed before, a crack in a wall, a missing stone, a broken shutter, small things, details, imperfections, signs of age, signs of wear, signs of life lived, of time past, of things changing slowly, so slowly, but changing nonetheless. Nothing lasts forever, not even these stone houses, not even this old village, not even the mountains. Everything changes, everything erodes, everything returns to the earth eventually. The stone crumbles, the wood rots, the iron rusts, everything breaks down, everything becomes dust. And the dust returns to the earth, and the earth continues, and the cycle goes on, but not tonight. Tonight everything stands, everything endures, the houses shelter, the walls protect, the crosses guard, the village survives another night, as it has survived thousands of nights before, as it will survive thousands of nights to come. It is strong, it is resilient, it is stubborn, it refuses to disappear, it refuses to be forgotten, it holds on, it persists, it exists. You walk to the edge of the village, not the forest edge, not the mountain edge, but another edge, a side you have not explored. You find a path. The path leads down the slope, down away from the village. You follow it. Your feet find the way. The moonlight shows you the path. It is narrow. It is rocky. It winds between boulders and bushes. It descends. You walk carefully. You watch your step. You do not want to fall. You do not want to stumble. The path is uneven. The stones are loose, but you move slowly. You take your time. There is no rush. There is nowhere to be. There is only the night, and the path, and the slow descent. The path levels out. You find yourself in a small valley, a narrow ravine. The sides rise up around you. Rock faces, steep slopes. The bottom is flat. A stream runs through it. You can hear the water. It bubbles and flows. It moves over stones. It creates a sound, a gentle sound, a peaceful sound, the sound of water, the sound of life. You walk to the stream. You kneel down. You look at the water. It is clear. You can see the stones on the bottom. The moonlight reflects off the surface. It sparkles. It shimmers. It moves with the water. It creates patterns. Dancing patterns. Shifting patterns. Never the same. Always changing. You reach out. You touch the water. It is cold. It is ice cold. It numbs your fingers. But it feels good. It feels real. It feels alive. You cup your hand. You lift some water. You bring it to your lips. You drink. The water is clean. It is pure. It tastes of stone and earth. It tastes of the mountains. It tastes of the source, of the beginning, of the place where water comes from. Deep in the earth, deep in the rock, filtered and cleaned by the earth itself. You drink more. You let the cold water fill your mouth. You swallow. You feel it go down. You feel it in your stomach. Cold and clear and pure. It refreshes you. It wakes you. It connects you to this place, to this land, to this earth. You are drinking the mountains. You are drinking the stone. You are drinking the history. The water is old. It has been here forever. It has flowed here since the beginning, since the mountains rose, since the earth formed, since time began. You lower your hand. You let the water drip. You watch it fall back into the stream. The drops create ripples. The ripples spread. They move outward. They touch other water. They create more ripples. The patterns multiply. They overlap. They interfere. They create complex shapes, shifting shapes, beautiful shapes, and then they fade, and the water is smooth again, moving, flowing, continuing on its way. You stand up. You look around the ravine. The rock walls rise up. They are dark. They are solid. They frame the sky above. The sky is filled with stars. The moon is bright. It lights the rocks. It lights the water. It lights you. You feel exposed here, open, visible. But there is no one to see, no one to watch, only the rocks, only the sky, only the night. You hear a sound. It echoes off the walls. It bounces back and forth. It is hard to tell where it comes from. It is a click, a tap, like stone hitting stone. You look around. You try to see, but the shadows are deep. The rocks create pockets of darkness. You cannot see into them. You cannot see what made the sound. The sound comes again. Click, tap, stone on stone. It is deliberate. It is rhythmic. It is not random. Something is making it. Something is hitting stones together, or hitting stone against stone. You listen. You try to locate it, but the echo makes it impossible. The sound comes from everywhere and nowhere. You stand very still. You do not move. You barely breathe. You listen. You wait. The sound continues. Click, tap, click. Tap, a rhythm, a pattern, a beat. It is steady. It is constant. It does not speed up. It does not slow down. It simply continues. Click, tap, and then it stops. Silence falls. The stream continues to flow, but that is all. No more clicking, no more tapping, no more sound. You wait. You listen. Nothing. Whatever made the sound is gone, or stopped, or is waiting, like you are waiting, both of you frozen, both of you listening, both of you trying to understand, trying to know, trying to see. You decide to leave. You walk back to the path. You climb back up. You leave the ravine behind. You leave the stream. You leave the mystery of the sound. You climb back toward the village. The path is steep. Your legs work, your breath comes faster, but you keep moving, you keep climbing, you need to get back. You need to return to the village, to the houses, to the protection. The ravine felt too exposed, too open, too vulnerable. You reach the top. You find yourself at the edge of the village again. The houses are there, silent and solid. You walk toward them. You walk back into the streets. You walk back into the familiar, the known, the safe, or as safe as this place can be, as safe as any place can be on a night like this, in a village like this, in a land like this. You walk to the well. You seem to always return to the well. It is your anchor, your point of reference, your centre. You stand beside it. You place your hands on the edge. You lean over. You look down. The darkness is complete, as always, endless, bottomless. You wonder if you dropped a stone, would you hear it hit? Would it make a sound? Or would it fall forever? Into the depths, into the earth, into the nothing. You straighten up. You look around the village. The moon is lower now. It is descending toward the western horizon. Dawn is still far away, but it is coming, slowly, inevitably. The night will end, the sun will rise, the light will return, and this village will look different. It will look normal. It will look like any other village, old, quiet, peaceful. The weight will lift, the shadows will recede, the mystery will fade. In daylight things are different. Things are clear. Things are understood, but that is not now. Now is still night. Now is still dark. Now is still heavy with all the things that walk in darkness, all the things that hide in shadow, all the things that wait and watch and move unseen. Now is still the time of the strigoi, the time of the spirits, the time of the forest, the time of the old beliefs, the time when the past is present, when the dead walk, when the line between worlds is thin. You walk to the church. You sit on the steps again. This is becoming your place, your spot, the place where you return, where you rest, where you think. The stone is cold but familiar now. The door is solid against your back. You're as comfortable as you can be in this place, on this night, in this moment. You close your eyes. You listen to the wind. It has been constant. It has never stopped. It is the voice of the night, the breath of the land. It carries everything, all the sounds, all the whispers, all the secrets. It moves through the village, through the houses, through the cracks and gaps, through the windows and doors. It touches everything. It knows everything. And it carries it all away, up to the mountains. Out to the forests, away into the night, and the secrets go with it, and they are never told, and they are never known. You think about all the nights this village has seen, all the people who have lived here, all the lives that have been lived, all the stories that have been told, all the fears that have been felt, all the prayers that have been said, all the protections that have been placed, all the rituals that have been performed, all the beliefs that have been held, generation after generation, century after century, the weight of all that time, all that life, all that death, all that memory. It is here, it is in the stones, it is in the wood, it is in the earth, it is in the air, it is everywhere. You can feel it, you can sense it, you are surrounded by it, immersed in it, part of it, but you are also separate. You are an outsider. You're not from here, you do not belong, you're just passing through, just visiting, just witnessing. You will leave, eventually, when the night ends, when the sun rises, when the light returns. You will walk away. You will leave this village behind. You will carry the memory of it, but you will not be part of it. You will not be woven into its story. You will not be remembered by its stones. You're just a shadow, a ghost, a brief presence in its long existence. The thought is comforting somehow, to be separate, to be temporary, to not be bound by the weight of this place, to not carry its burdens, to not be held by its beliefs, to be free to leave, free to forget, free to move on, to return to your own world, your own life, your own time, where things make sense, where things are clear, where the night is just the night. And shadows are just shadows, and darkness is just the absence of light, nothing more. But that is not this place. This place is different. Here the night means something. Here shadows hold things. Here darkness is alive. Here the past is present. Here the dead walk. Here spirits roam. Here beliefs have power. Here the old ways still hold. Here you must protect yourself. Here you must be careful. Here you must respect the things you do not understand, because they are real. In this place, on this night, they are real. You open your eyes, you look at the sky. The stars are beginning to fade, just a little, just at the edges. The moon is lower, the light is changing. Dawn is approaching, slowly, very slowly, but it is coming. You can feel it, in the air, in the wind, in the stillness. The night is reaching its deepest point. The point just before dawn, the darkest hour, the coldest hour, the most dangerous hour, the hour when the veil is thinnest, when the worlds are closest, when anything can happen, when the strigoi walk, when the spirits are strongest, when the past reaches out to touch the present. You stand up. You do not want to sit anymore. You want to move. You want to walk. You want to keep your blood flowing, keep your body warm, keep your mind occupied. You walk down the steps. You walk into the square. You walk around the monument. You walk past the church. You walk into the streets. You walk past the houses. You walk without purpose, without direction. You just walk. You just move. You just exist in motion. The village is completely silent now. The wind has stopped. The air is still. Nothing moves. Nothing makes a sound. It is as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for what you do not know, for dawn, for light, for the end of the night, for something to happen, or for nothing to happen, just waiting. Frozen in this moment, this deep moment, this dark moment. You walk slowly. Your footsteps are the only sound. They echo slightly, off the stones, off the walls, soft echoes, quiet echoes. You hear yourself walking. You hear yourself breathing. That is all. No other sounds, no wind, no rustling, no creaking, no howling, nothing, just you, just your presence, just your movement through this frozen moment. You reach the edge of the village again. You look toward the forest. The trees are black against the sky, solid, dark, impenetrable. The forest is awake. You can feel it. It is watching. It is aware. It knows you are there. It has known all along. It has been watching all night, silent, patient, waiting, for what you do not know, maybe for you to enter, maybe for you to approach, maybe for nothing, maybe it just watches. That is what it does. That is its nature. To watch, to know, to be present. You do not go closer. You stay where you are, at the edge of the village, at the boundary, at the line between the human world and the wild world, between the protected and the unprotected, between the known and the unknown. You stay on your side, you respect the boundary, you honour it. You do not cross. You notice something in the distance, beyond the forest, beyond the trees. A faint glow. It is barely visible, just a hint of light on the horizon. It is not the moon. The moon is behind you now, descending in the west. This light is different. It is softer. It is warmer. It is the first promise of dawn, the first hint that the night is ending, that the darkness will not last forever, that light will return. You watch the glow. It does not grow. Not yet. It is too early. But it is there, a presence, a promise, a reminder that all things change, that nothing lasts forever, not even the deepest night, not even the heaviest darkness. Light always returns. Dawn always comes. The cycle continues. You turn away from the forest. You walk back into the village. The houses are still silent. The windows still glow with candlelight. But somehow the village feels different now, less heavy, less oppressive. As if it too knows that dawn is coming, as if it too is waiting, preparing, ready to release the night, ready to welcome the day. You walk through the streets. You pass the houses one by one. You look at each one. You take in the details, the worn stone, the old wood, the crosses, the herbs, the symbols, everything that makes this place what it is, everything that protects it, everything that defines it. You want to remember. You want to hold on to these images, these feelings, this experience. You reach a small house at the end of a narrow street. The house is different from the others. It is smaller, older. The stones are darker. The wood is more weathered. The door is slightly ajar, just a crack, just enough to see that it is not fully closed. You stop. You look at the door. You wonder if you should look inside, if you should push it open, if you should see what is there. You stand in front of the door, you listen. No sound comes from inside, no movement, no breathing, nothing. The house feels empty, but you're not sure. You reach out. Your hand touches the door. The wood is rough and cold. You push gently. The door creaks. It swings open slowly. The sound echoes in the quiet. Loud. Too loud. You peer inside. The interior is dark. Very dark. Darker than the night outside. Your eyes cannot adjust. You can see nothing. Just blackness. Just emptiness. Just void. You wait. You let your eyes try to see. Try to find shapes. Try to find anything. But there is nothing. The darkness is complete. You step back. You let the door swing closed. It creaks again. It settles back into place. Not fully closed, but almost. Just as it was. You turn away. You walk back down the street. You do not know what that house is. You do not know why the door was open. You do not know what lies inside. And you do not need to know. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Some doors are better left unopened. You return to the square, to the church, to the monument, to the centre of the village. You stand there. You look around. You take it all in one more time. The night is still here. The darkness still holds. But you can feel the change. You can sense the shift. The balance is tipping. The night is losing its grip. Dawn is coming. You sit on the steps of the church one last time. You lean back. You close your eyes. You listen. The wind has returned. Just a gentle breeze now. Not strong. Not cold. Just a soft movement of air. It carries new smells. The smell of dew. The smell of morning. The smell of change. You hear a sound. It is faint. Very faint. It comes from far away. From beyond the mountains. From the edge of the world. It is a bird. A single bird calling. Its voice cuts through the silence. Clear. Pure. Beautiful. It is the first voice of morning. The first sound of day. The signal that the night is ending. You open your eyes. The sky has changed. It is lighter now. Not bright. Not blue. But lighter. The darkness is grey now instead of black. The stars are fading. One by one they disappear. The moon is gone. It has set behind the mountains. The sky is empty, waiting to be filled with light, waiting for the sun. You stand up. You walk down the steps. You walk into the square. You walk slowly, deliberately. You want to feel every moment, every step, every breath. This is the end of the night, the end of the experience, the end of the journey through this strange and heavy place. You walk toward the edge of the village, toward the road that leads away, the road that leads to the world beyond, to your world, to the familiar, to the light. You walk slowly. You are not in a hurry. There is no need to rush. The night has held you, has surrounded you, has pressed down on you, but it has not harmed you. It has not taken you. It has only shown you, only revealed itself to you, only let you witness. You reach the last house. You stop. You turn back. You look at the village one more time. In this grey pre-dawn light it looks different, softer, gentler, less threatening. The houses are just houses, old and worn but just buildings. The church is just a church, a place of worship, a place of community. The streets are just streets, paths between buildings, nothing more. But you know what this place becomes when the sun sets, when the moon rises, when the stars come out, when the darkness falls. You know the weight that descends, the presence that fills the air, the feeling that permeates everything. You know because you have experienced it. You have lived through it. You have survived it. The sky grows lighter. The grey becomes pale. The horizon begins to glow, gold and pink and orange, the colours of dawn, the colours of hope, the colours of life. The sun is coming. You can feel its approach, its warmth, its power, its light that will drive away all shadows, all darkness, all mystery. You see movement in the village, doors opening, people emerging. They step out into the pre-dawn light. They move slowly, stiffly, as if they too have been held by the night, as if they too have been waiting. They do not look at you. They do not acknowledge you. They simply go about their business, checking their animals, gathering firewood, beginning their day. You watch them for a moment. These people who live here, who exist in this place, who endure these nights, These long, dark, heavy nights filled with old beliefs and ancient fears. They are strong. They are resilient. They are survivors. They have adapted. They have learned. They have found a way to live with the mystery, to coexist with the unknown, to respect the darkness while still living in the light. You turn away. You begin to walk. You follow the road. It leads out of the village, away from the houses, away from the church, away from the forest, away from the mountains. You walk steadily. The road rises. It climbs a hill. You climb with it. Your legs are tired. Your body is cold. But you keep moving. You keep going. You're almost free, almost out, almost back to your world. You reach the top of the hill. You stop. You turn around. The village lies below you, small, contained, held in its valley, surrounded by forest and mountains. The sun breaks over the eastern mountains. Light floods the valley. It pours over the village. It touches everything. The houses, the church, the streets, the trees. Everything is illuminated. Everything is revealed. Everything is clear. And in the light the village looks beautiful, peaceful, a place out of time, a place of history and tradition, a place that has endured for centuries, that will endure for centuries more. The weight is gone. The mystery is gone. What remains is just a village, just a place where people live, where they work, where they love, where they survive, where they continue. You stand there for a long moment, watching, remembering, holding on to the feeling, the experience, the night, and then you turn away. You face forward, you look ahead. The road stretches before you, leading away, leading on, leading to whatever comes next. You begin to walk. The sun is warm on your back. The air is fresh and clean. The world is waking up around you. Birds are singing. The breeze is gentle. Everything is normal. Everything is ordinary. Everything is as it should be. But you carry something with you. Something from that night, from that village, from that experience, a knowledge, an understanding, an awareness that the world is larger than we know, deeper than we understand, more mysterious than we can comprehend, that there are places where the old ways persist, where beliefs have power, where the past is present, where the night is more than just darkness. You carry that knowledge, that understanding, that awareness, and it will stay with you forever. A part of who you are, a part of how you see the world, a part of your story. You have walked through a Transylvanian village at night. You have felt its weight. You have witnessed its mystery. You have survived until dawn, and now you walk on, into the day, into the light, into your life. But you will never forget. You will never lose the memory, the feeling, the experience. It is woven into you now, part of your fabric, part of your being, part of your understanding of the world and all its mysteries. The village remains behind you. The people continue their lives. The houses stand, the church stands, the forest watches, the mountains watch. Everything continues, everything endures, everything remains. Night will come again, the sun will set, the moon will rise, the stars will come out, the darkness will fall. And the weight will return, the presence will return, the mystery will return. But that is not your concern, not anymore. You have done your time. You have served your watch. You have witnessed what you came to witness. Now you are free, free to leave, free to return, free to remember from a safe distance, from the light, from the day, from the comfort of your own world where things make sense, where things are explained, where mysteries are solved, or so you tell yourself. But deep down you know that no matter where you go, no matter how far you travel, no matter how much time passes, a part of you will always be in that village, in that night, in that darkness, walking those streets, feeling that weight, witnessing that mystery, because some experiences change us, some places mark us, some nights stay with us forever. And this is one of those nights, one of those places, one of those experiences. It is part of you now, and it will remain part of you, always, forever. A memory, a feeling, a knowledge, a connection to something old and deep and powerful, something that exists beyond our understanding, beyond our control, beyond our light. The sun climbs higher. The day grows brighter. You walk on. The village disappears behind you, hidden by the hills, hidden by the distance, hidden by the land. but not forgotten, never forgotten. It remains in your mind, in your heart, in your memory, a place of mystery, a place of weight, a place of night, a place where the old ways still hold, where beliefs still have power, where the past is still present, where the dead still walk, where the spirits still roam, where the darkness is still alive. You walk on, and the memory walks with you, the feeling walks with you, the knowledge walks with you. They are your companions now, your burden, your gift, the price of witnessing, the reward of surviving, the consequence of walking through that village on that night, of feeling its weight, of facing its mystery, of enduring until dawn. And as you walk, you realize something. You realize that you're different now, changed, marked. You have seen something that most people never see, felt something that most people never feel, experienced something that most people never experience. You have looked into the darkness and seen that it looks back. You have stood at the boundary between worlds and felt how thin it is. You have walked among the mysteries and learned that they are real. This knowledge is both a gift and a burden. It opens your eyes to the deeper reality of the world, but it also fills you with questions, with doubts, with fears, because once you know that the darkness is alive, that the mysteries are real, that the old beliefs have power, you cannot unknow it, you cannot forget it, you cannot go back to seeing the world as simple and explained and safe. But perhaps that is okay, perhaps that is how it should be. Perhaps we are meant to know that the world is larger than we think, deeper than we understand, more mysterious than we can explain. Perhaps we are meant to feel the weight of the unknown, the presence of the unseen, the power of the ancient. Perhaps that keeps us humble, keeps us respectful, keeps us aware. You walk on. The sun is high now, the day is full, the world is bright and clear and normal, but you are not the same. You have been changed, marked, touched by something beyond the ordinary, beyond the everyday, beyond the explained. You have walked through the night in a Transylvanian village, and the night has walked through you, leaving its mark, leaving its memory, leaving its mystery, and that mystery will stay with you, always, forever. A whisper in the back of your mind, a feeling in the depth of your heart, a knowledge in the core of your being that the world is vast, that the darkness is deep, that the unknown remains unknown, and that some nights, in some places, the veil between worlds grows thin, and the old ways still hold power, and the past reaches out to touch the present, and the dead walk among the living. This is what you carry. This is what you know. This is what you will remember when the sun sets, when the moon rises, when the stars come out, when the darkness falls. You will remember that village, that night, that weight, that feeling, and you will know. You will know that somewhere, in some valley, surrounded by forest and mountains, the village endures, the people endure, the beliefs endure, the mysteries endure, the night endures, and the darkness is never just the absence of light. It is something more, something alive, something aware, something that watches, something that waits, something that holds secrets, something that keeps mysteries, something that bridges worlds, something that connects the past to the present, the living to the dead, the known to the unknown. This is the truth you carry, the knowledge you hold, the memory you bear, and it will stay with you forever. A part of who you are, a part of how you see, a part of what you know. You have walked through that night, and you have emerged, changed, marked, aware, and you will never be quite the same again. The road continues ahead of you, stretching far into the distance, leading you forward, leading you home, leading you back to the world you know, the world of light and reason, the world where mysteries have explanations, where shadows are just shadows, where the night is just the time when the sun is gone, nothing more, but you know better now. You have seen beyond the surface, you have felt the layers beneath, you have touched the hidden reality that exists alongside the ordinary. And that knowledge will inform everything you do from this moment forward, every sunset you watch, every shadow you pass, every quiet night you experience. You will remember, you will know, you will understand. And maybe that is the real gift of your experience. Not fear, not dread, not terror, but awareness, understanding, respect. You have learned that the world is deeper than you thought, that there is more to existence than what we can see and touch and explain, that mystery is real, that the unknown truly exists, and that we must approach it with humility, with respect, with awareness. You walk on. The day continues, the sun shines, the world is beautiful and bright, and you are grateful. Grateful for the light, grateful for the warmth, grateful for the ordinary world, but you are also grateful for the night you experienced, for the village you visited, for the mystery you witnessed, because it has given you something precious, something rare, something that most people never receive. It has given you the gift of knowing that the world is not what it seems, that beneath the surface of the ordinary lies the extraordinary, that the veil between what we know and what we do not know is thinner than we imagine, that ancient beliefs persist because they are rooted in something real, something that exists whether we acknowledge it or not. You walk on. The landscape changes around you. The mountains recede behind you. The forests thin. The land opens up. You pass through fields and meadows. You cross streams and valleys. The world is alive with morning. Insects buzz. Birds call. Small creatures move through the grass. Life continues its eternal dance, unaware of mysteries, unaware of veils between worlds, simply existing, simply being, or so it appears. But now you wonder, do these creatures know things that we do not? Do they sense the things that walk in darkness? Do they feel the weight of ancient places? Do they understand the thinness of the boundary between worlds? Animals have always been part of the old stories. Dogs that bark at nothing, cats that stare into empty corners, horses that refuse to pass certain places, birds that fall silent when something unseen approaches. Maybe they know. Maybe they have always known. Maybe humans are the ones who have forgotten, who have lost the ability to sense these things, who have closed themselves off from the deeper layers of reality, who have chosen the comfort of explanation over the truth of mystery. You think about this as you walk, about what has been lost, about what has been traded away. Humanity gained so much through reason and science and explanation. But what was the cost? What did we lose when we stopped believing in the old ways, when we stopped respecting the darkness, when we stopped acknowledging that there are things beyond our understanding? The people in that village still know, they still remember, they still maintain the old protections, they still perform the old rituals, they still respect the night. And maybe they are the wise ones. Maybe they have kept something precious that the rest of the world has thrown away. Maybe their crosses and garlic and salt and prayers are not superstition. Maybe they are wisdom, ancient wisdom, hard-earned wisdom, wisdom written in blood and fear and survival across countless generations. You walk through a small village, not like the one you left behind. This village is modern, it has electricity, it has cars, it has shops with bright signs. People move through the streets with purpose. They talk on phones, they check watches, they hurry to appointments and obligations. This is the normal world, the world of schedules and responsibilities, the world of deadlines and expectations. You watch them as you pass, they seem so confident, so sure of their reality, so certain that the world is what it appears to be. They go about their lives without fear, without wariness, without respect for the darkness, because they do not know, they have not felt the weight. They have not witnessed the mystery. They live in the bright world of surfaces and explanations, and they are happy there. You do not judge them. You envy them a little. There is a comfort in not knowing, a peace in certainty, a safety in believing that the world is simple and explained and controlled. You had that once. Before last night, before the village, before the wait and the watching and the waiting. You cannot have it again. You have crossed a threshold. You have seen too much. You know too much. But you would not trade it. Not really. Despite the wait, despite the uncertainty, despite the questions that will never have answers, you would not trade the knowledge you have gained, because it is real. It is true. It is the deeper reality of the world. And truth, even difficult truth, even uncomfortable truth, is more valuable than comforting illusion. You leave the modern village behind. You continue walking. The sun is past its peak now. It begins its slow descent toward the western horizon. The day is passing, time is moving. The cycle continues. Day becomes afternoon, afternoon will become evening, evening will become night. The cycle never stops, never slows, never changes. And when night comes again, when darkness falls again, what will you feel? Will you experience that same weight, that same presence, that same watching? Or was it unique to that place, that village, that valley, that ancient land where the old ways still hold power? You do not know. You will have to wait and see, wait for darkness, wait for night, wait to discover if the change in you is permanent or if it was only the influence of that place. You find yourself hoping it was only the place, that the weight will not follow you, that the watching will not continue, that you can return to normal nights, safe nights, ordinary nights. But part of you, a deeper part, knows that is not possible. You have been awakened, you have been opened, you cannot close yourself again, cannot go back to not sensing these things, cannot return to ignorance. The afternoon passes slowly. You walk through changing landscape, through forests and fields, past farms and cottages, past churches and shrines. You notice the shrines now, small structures beside the road, places where travellers stop to pray, to light candles, to ask for protection. You notice the crosses at intersections, the small offerings left at certain places, flowers, stones, coins. These are everywhere. You just never noticed before, never paid attention, never understood what they meant, but now you see them, now you recognize them. They are protections, markers, acknowledgements. They are humanity's way of recognizing that certain places are different, that certain locations hold power, that the world is not uniform, not all the same. That some places are thin, some places are watched, some places require respect. You stop at one of these shrines. It is small, built of stone, with a wooden roof. Inside is a figure, a saint perhaps, or maybe just a representation of the divine. Candles burn in front of it, fresh flowers lie at its base. Someone was here recently. Someone still maintains this place, still believes, still respects. You stand in front of the shrine. You do not pray. You do not believe in the way these people believe. But you understand now. You understand the impulse, the need to acknowledge, to show respect, to ask for protection. You understand that these shrines are not about religion exactly. They're about something older, something deeper, something that exists beneath all religions, beneath all beliefs. The fundamental human understanding that we are small, that the world is vast, that there are forces beyond our control, and that respect, humility, and caution are wise responses to this reality. You continue walking. The sun lowers. The light changes. Everything takes on a golden quality. The magic hour. The time when day begins to surrender to night. When the balance tips. When the world transforms from the bright realm of day to the mysterious realm of night. You feel it beginning. The change. The shift. The subtle alteration in the quality of the world. Your heart beats faster. Your breath comes quicker. You're nervous, afraid, not of anything specific, just of the coming darkness, of the approaching night, of the unknown that waits in shadows. This is new for you. You've never feared the night before. Never felt this anticipation, this wariness, this respect. You look for a place to stop, to wait out the night. You need shelter, protection, 4 walls and a roof, a fire and a light, the comfort of human construction, human presence, human warmth. You need these things. You cannot face another night in the open. Not yet. Not now. Maybe not ever. You see lights ahead. A village, larger than the one you left this morning, with an inn, with people, with safety. You walk faster now, hurrying, wanting to reach shelter before full darkness falls, before the sun sets completely, before night truly begins. You reach the village as the last light fades from the sky. The sun has set. The stars are appearing, the moon is rising, but there are streetlights here, electric lights, bright lights. They push back the darkness. They create pools of illumination. They make the night less absolute, less complete, less heavy. You enter the inn. The warmth hits you immediately. The light, the sound of voices and laughter, the smell of food and drink, the presence of other people. It is overwhelming after the silence of the road, after the solitude of walking, after the weight of remembering. But it is also comforting, reassuring, normal. You rent a room, you eat a meal, you sit by the fire and let the warmth soak into your bones. Other travellers are here, they talk and laugh, they share stories of their journeys, their plans, their destinations. Normal travellers with normal concerns, moving through a normal world. You say little, you listen, you observe, you notice things you did not notice before, the way people avoid looking out the windows after dark. The way conversations quiet when the wind picks up, the way everyone stays close to the fire, the way no one suggests going outside. These are small things, subtle things, but they are there, even here, even in this modern inn with its electric lights and its confident travellers. Even here people respect the night. Even here they acknowledge, without speaking of it, that darkness is different. That night requires caution. Or maybe you are imagining it. Maybe you're seeing things that are not there, projecting your new awareness onto ordinary behaviour. Maybe these people are simply tired, simply comfortable, simply content to stay by the fire because it is warm and pleasant. Maybe there is nothing more to it than that. You do not know. You cannot tell. The line between reality and interpretation is blurred now. You see shadows everywhere. Sense weight in every silence. Feel watching in every quiet moment. Is this real? Or is this paranoia born from one profound experience, one night of mystery and weight and unknown presence? You excuse yourself. You go to your room. It is simple but comfortable. A bed, a window, a lamp, a door with a lock. You lock the door. You close the curtains. You light the lamp. You create a small space of light and safety and control. Your own little fortress against the night. You lie on the bed. You close your eyes. You breathe slowly. You try to relax. Try to let go of the tension. Try to release the fear. You are safe. You are inside. You are protected. Nothing can reach you here. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can harm you. But you do not believe it. Not completely. Because you know now. You know that walls and locks and lights are small protections. Fragile protections. They keep out the physical, the mundane, the ordinary. But what about the other things? The things that move in shadows, the things that walk between worlds, the things that respect no barriers built by human hands. You think about the strigoi, about the stories. They can pass through walls, they can enter locked rooms, they can reach anyone, anywhere, if they choose. Physical barriers mean nothing to them. Only faith stops them, only belief, only the power of crosses and garlic and prayer, and you have no faith, no belief, no protection. Except maybe you do. Maybe your experience has given you a kind of faith, not in any religion, not in any God, but in the reality of the unseen, in the existence of the mysterious, in the power of respect and humility and caution. Maybe that is enough. Maybe acknowledging the mystery is its own protection. Maybe the danger comes from denial, from arrogance, from refusing to accept that there are things beyond us. You open your eyes, you look at the ceiling, you listen to the sounds of the inn, footsteps in the hall, voices from downstairs, the creak of old wood settling, normal sounds, ordinary sounds, human sounds. They are comforting. They remind you that you are not alone, that you are part of a community, however temporary, that other lives are being lived all around you. Other people are sleeping and waking and existing, and they are fine, they are safe, they endure. Slowly you relax, slowly the tension eases, slowly your breathing deepens, you drift, not quite asleep, but not quite awake. In that liminal space between, that threshold, that boundary, and in that space you feel it again, the weight, the presence, the watching. But gentler now, softer, like a memory, like an echo, like something that was but is no longer, or maybe like something that always is but we rarely notice. You accept it. You do not fight it. You do not fear it. You simply acknowledge it. Yes, you are there. I know you. I feel you. I respect you. And that is enough. The presence does not press harder, does not grow heavier. It simply exists, as it has always existed, as it will always exist. Part of the world, part of the night, part of the mystery. You sleep, finally, deeply, your body exhausted from walking, your mind exhausted from awareness, your spirit exhausted from carrying the weight of knowing, you sleep and you dream. But you do not remember the dreams. They slip away as soon as you wake, leaving only a feeling, a sense, an impression. Not frightening, not disturbing, just different, just deep, just connected to something larger than yourself. You wake to daylight, to sun streaming through cracks in the curtains, to the sounds of morning, to the inn coming alive around you. You lie there for a moment, orienting yourself, remembering where you are, remembering why you are here, remembering what you carry, and you realize something. You survived another night. You made it through the darkness. You are still here, still safe, still whole. The night did not take you, did not harm you, did not destroy you. You endured again, and you will endure again and again. As many nights as you have left in your life, you will endure them all. The fear is still there, the awareness is still there, the knowledge is still there, but they are manageable now, bearable, part of you rather than overwhelming you. You have integrated them, made them part of your being. They no longer control you. You control them. You carry them. You live with them. This is growth. This is change. This is what it means to be transformed by experience. You are not the same person you were before you entered that village, before you walked those streets, before you felt that weight. You are different, marked, changed, but also stronger, wiser, deeper. You get up, you dress, you pack your belongings, you go downstairs, you eat breakfast with the other travellers, you exchange pleasantries, you share the basic information of travellers everywhere, where you are from, where you are going, what you have seen along the way. But you do not mention the village, you do not speak of that night, you do not share the weight or the watching or the mystery. These things are too personal, too profound, too difficult to explain. They would not understand. They would think you were strange, or troubled, or making up stories. So you keep it to yourself. You hold it inside. You carry it alone. And maybe that is right. Maybe some experiences are meant to be private, meant to be held close, meant to be carried alone. Maybe the deepest transformations cannot be shared, can only be felt, can only be known by the one who experienced them. Maybe trying to explain them would diminish them, would reduce them, would make them smaller than they are. You pay for your room, you thank the innkeeper, you step outside. The day is beautiful. Clear and bright and warm, the world looks fresh, new, full of possibility. You take a deep breath, you set your shoulders, you begin to walk. The road continues, always the road continues, leading forward, leading on, leading to destinations known and unknown. You follow it. One step at a time, 1 mile at a time, 1 day at a time, moving through the world, carrying your experience, carrying your knowledge, carrying your transformation. Days pass. You walk and rest and walk again. You pass through villages and towns. You cross rivers and climb hills. You move through changing landscapes and changing weather. The world is vast. The world is varied. The world is beautiful and terrible and mysterious and ordinary all at once, and everywhere you go you notice things. The small shrines beside roads, the crosses at intersections. The way people pause at twilight, the way they hurry inside when darkness falls, the way they maintain protections without speaking of them, the way respect for the mystery is woven into daily life. So subtle, so quiet, so easy to miss if you are not paying attention. But you are paying attention now. You see these things, you recognize them, you understand them, and you feel less alone, less isolated, because you realize that you're not the only one who knows, who feels, who respects. There are others, many others. They just do not speak of it. They just live it. They just maintain the old ways quietly, privately, without fanfare or explanation. This is comforting. It means that what you experience was not unique to you, not special, not unusual. It is part of the human experience, part of the wisdom that is passed down, part of the knowledge that persists even when we think we have moved beyond it. You are part of a long tradition, a long lineage, a long history of people who have walked through mysterious nights and emerged changed, marked, aware. You continue your journey. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. The seasons begin to shift. Summer fades toward autumn. The light changes. The air cools. The world prepares for the coming dark, for winter, for the long nights, for the time when darkness dominates and light retreats. You find yourself settling in a place, a town, not large but not small, with work and people and routines. You find a room. You find employment. You find a rhythm. You begin to build a life, a new life, different from the one you had before, informed by what you have learned, shaped by what you have experienced. Deepened by what you know, you make friends, you form connections, you become part of a community, but you remain separate too, apart, different. Because you carry something that they do not carry, because you know something that they do not know, because you have walked through a night that they have not walked through. Sometimes people sense this difference. They ask what happened to you, where you have been, what you have seen. You give them simple answers. You tell them about your travels, about the villages you passed through, about the landscapes you crossed. But you do not tell them about that village, about that night, about the weight and the mystery and the transformation. Some of them push. They sense there is more. They want to know. They are curious. But you deflect. You redirect. You keep your secrets. Because they are not ready. Or because you are not ready to share. Or because some things simply cannot be shared, cannot be communicated, can only be experienced. The seasons turn. Autumn deepens. The nights grow longer. The darkness comes earlier and stays later. You watch the sunset each evening with a mixture of peace and wariness. You have made your peace with the night, but you still respect it, still acknowledge it, still prepare for it. You have your own protections now, not crosses or garlic or salt, but routines, habits, practices. You light candles when darkness falls. You say quiet words of acknowledgement. You pause at twilight to honour the transition. These are your rituals, your ways of showing respect, your methods of maintaining the boundary between yourself and the mystery. Do they work? You do not know. You have not been tested. You have not felt that weight again, that presence, that watching, not like in that village, not with that intensity, but you feel echoes, whispers, hints on certain nights, in certain places, when conditions are right, or when the veil is thin, or when the world remembers what it truly is beneath the surface of the ordinary. And on those nights you are careful, you are respectful, you are humble, you acknowledge what you cannot see, you honour what you cannot understand, you accept that there are forces beyond you, powers beyond you, mysteries beyond you, and you live with that knowledge, you carry that awareness, you maintain that respect. Winter comes, the longest nights, the deepest darkness, the coldest hours, the time when the old stories say the veil is thinnest, when the dead walk most freely. When spirits are most active, when the boundary between worlds is most permeable. You're more careful now, more watchful, more aware. You keep your lights burning longer, you keep your fire burning hotter, you keep your protection stronger, not out of fear exactly, but out of wisdom, out of respect, out of understanding that some times are more dangerous than others. Some seasons require more caution, some nights demand more vigilance, and you endure, you survive, you continue. The winter passes without incident, without encounter, without the weight descending again, and you are grateful, you are relieved, but you are also slightly disappointed, because part of you wanted to be tested, wanted to know if you could face it again, if you could stand before the mystery again and endure. If you could walk through that weight again and emerge unchanged, or rather, emerge further changed, deepened again, transformed again. But the test does not come. The winter passes, spring arrives, the days lengthen, the light returns, the world wakes from its sleep, life returns, growth returns, the cycle continues, death and rebirth, darkness and light, mystery and revelation, the eternal dance. You have lived a full year now, a complete cycle. You have experienced all the seasons, all the transitions, all the turnings of the wheel, and you have endured, you have survived, you have thrived even, you have built a life, you have found a place, you have integrated your experience into your being, but you have not forgotten, you will never forget, that village, that night, that experience. It is part of you now, forever. Woven into your fabric, embedded in your soul, a permanent alteration, a lasting mark, a transformation that cannot be undone, and that is as it should be. Because profound experiences should change us, should mark us, should transform us permanently. That is how we grow, how we deepen, how we become more than we were. We are shaped by what we encounter, formed by what we experience, made into who we are by where we have been and what we have seen and what we have felt. You are who you are now because of that night, because of that village, because of that walk through darkness and mystery and weight. You are deeper, wiser, more aware, more respectful, more humble, more connected to the true nature of the world, to the reality that exists beneath the surface, to the mystery that permeates everything, even when we pretend it does not exist. And you will carry this forever. It is your burden, your gift, your treasure, your curse, your blessing. All of these things at once, and you accept it, you embrace it, you honor it, because it is real, because it is true, because it is yours. The years pass, you age, you change, you grow older, your life continues, you experience joy and sorrow, love and loss, success and failure, all the ordinary dramas of human existence. But beneath it all, woven through it all, present in it all, is that knowledge, that awareness, that understanding, that the world is not what it seems, that darkness is more than absence, that mystery is real, that the veil between worlds is thin, that the past walks in the present, that the dead do not always rest, that spirits roam, that beliefs have power, that respect is wisdom, that humility is strength, that acceptance is courage. You carry these truths, you live these truths, you embody these truths, and in doing so you become part of the long tradition, the ancient lineage, the eternal community of those who know, who have walked through mysterious nights, who have felt the weight, who have witnessed the mystery, who have survived to carry the knowledge forward. This is your legacy, your contribution, your gift to the world, not spoken, not taught, not explained, but lived, embodied, demonstrated through how you move in the world, how you respect the darkness, how you honor the mystery, how you maintain the old ways in new times, how you keep the knowledge alive even when others have forgotten. And somewhere, in that distant valley, in that ancient village surrounded by forest and mountains, the night continues. The people continue. The beliefs continue, the protections continue, the rituals continue, the mystery continues, everything continues, as it always has, as it always will. The sun sets, the moon rises, the stars come out, the darkness falls, the weight descends, the presence fills the air, the watching begins, the strigoi walk, the spirits roam, the forest watches, the mountains watch, the past is present, the dead walk among the living, the veil is thin, and somewhere in the world someone else walks those streets, feels that weight, witnesses that mystery, and they will be changed, marked, transformed, as you were changed, as you were marked, as you were transformed, and they will carry it forward, as you carry it forward, as generations before have carried it forward, as generations to come will carry it forward. This is the way, this is the truth. This is the cycle, forever and ever, without end, until the mountains crumble, until the forests die, until the earth itself returns to dust. The mystery will endure, the darkness will remain, the night will continue, and those who walk through it will be changed, forever marked, forever aware. This is your story. This is your truth. This is your reality. You walked through a Transylvanian village at night. You felt its weight. You witnessed its mystery. You survived until dawn, and you were changed, forever changed, and you carry that change now, always, in every moment, in every breath, in every heartbeat. It is part of you. It is you, and it will remain, until you too become part of the earth, part of the cycle, part of the mystery, part of the darkness, part of the eternal night that holds all things, all lives, all stories, all truths, forever.